and then aliens showed up to take us to Space Jam. Like that is Hoodslam to me. It's just like this real moment that just goes, all right, enough of that. Here comes aliens.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Let's Get Cereal, the weekly show where I, your host, Alyssa Marino, eat cereal, talk about stuff, and sometimes talk to people. My friends, I have a very special guest today, a pro wrestler with some mean harmonies and a menagerie of animals. That's my GLAMmentary partner, Anton Voorhees. Hello, my friend.
Hi, friend. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. I'm so glad to be able to chat with you a bit. And per the name of the show, I do have some cereal ready. I wasn't sure if you were partaking, so I wanted to just make sure that I was prepared.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Ooh, that's the same milk I have.
Oh, is it? It's brand new.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I thought that we had cereal, but I think Sarah must have eaten the last of it yesterday. So,
you know, we like her, so we'll give her the pass. That's all right.
I'm a huge fan of my girlfriend, so yes, she definitely gets a pass.
Understood. Well, in that case, I'll kick it off, and my friend, let's get cereal.
Let's do it.
So, also on this show, you can talk with your mouth full because there are no rules. We're just having fun, you know.
Yeah.
So I will say, one of the things that cereal really does for me is it makes me feel super nostalgic. It makes me feel carefree, like I'm a kid again. So I want to know, what was little Anton Voorhees like?
So little Anton Voorhees was a horrible amalgamation of things that he just never understood until he was an adult. So I had ADHD as a child that no one knew about. Okay. And I also was extremely introverted, which no one even I had never heard that word as a child. So it was a rough combination of not liking to be around a lot of people and also not being able to pay attention to things. So school was really the opposite of what was good for me. And I ran into a problem that it seems like a lot of people also have run into as a child is because I couldn't pay attention, but I wasn't an idiot, they thought that I was gifted. They're like, oh, you can't pay attention because you're not being challenged. So they put me in this other type of schooling, which was cool in elementary school because they were like, we're going to take you out of class to put together a puzzle. And I was like, yeah. Sick. But then I got to junior high and they're like, now you're just in hard classes. And I was like, oh, don't do that. I'm not smart. I just can't pay attention to things. So that was my life, was doing my best to just be adequate. And it was a real challenge to just make it through school, really.
Well, I'm so happy that you did. I'm so happy that you did make it. But I'm curious, I know that we have some shared common interests. And do you feel like things like musical theater were kind of a good challenge for you?
Yes. I'm glad that I did things. Because performing made sense to me. Mm-hmm. There's a line in Good Will Hunting where it's you look at a piano and you see Mozart. I look at a piano and I see a box with a bunch of keys. But in Good Will Hunting, he's like, math makes sense to me. And performing makes sense to me. It always did. It was here's your lines. Read them like a human being would say them. And I was like, that makes sense. Where a lot of people sound like they're reading lines when they read lines. So yeah, performing was easy. I can talk in front of 1 million people and be fine, but if you put me in a room with 20 people and I'm not being told you're supposed to be the center of attention, I will shrivel up and be I don't want to be here. And if someone's like, hey Anton, I'm like, please don't talk to me. I don't want to pull attention onto myself, it needs to be like gifted to me ahead of time, and then I'm fine with it.
It's good to have the forewarning of, hey, spotlight's on you. This is okay.
It's my time. You got it. Like I can take my time. Like right now, I feel like this is a version of performing where we're engaging with each other and hopefully being entertaining at the same time. Whereas like if you were a stranger and there were like 3 of you, I'd be like, I hate everything about this.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of the spotlight, I'm very curious, what kind of took you into the world of professional wrestling?
So when I was a kid, my dad just happened to come across professional wrestling. And I couldn't tell you if it was WWF or WCW or what it was, but he didn't turn it on purpose. He just was flipping through the channels and came across it. And he was kind of like, ha, look at this silly garbage. And I was like, I love this silly garbage. And like, I also didn't understand how to watch wrestling because WCW was in like Eastern time and it was on at like 6:05, and I was like, this is not what time this is on, and I couldn't figure out how to watch it because every time I turned it on at 6:05, it wasn't on. It wasn't on TBS. Like I just couldn't comprehend that there were different
that whole time zone
yeah.
thing.
And then in high school is when like, you know, Raw and Nitro were like going head to head, and everyone started liking wrestling. And I was like, oh, everyone likes this thing that I've always liked, and that's really cool and exciting because now I can actually talk about wrestling with people instead of trying to find people that watched wrestling to hopefully talk about, you know, hey, did you see Mr. Perfect? Like, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, kid. In high school, also, ECW started becoming a big thing. And then when I saw Spike Dudley wrestle a match, I was like, oh, wait, I can do this. If Spike Dudley can be a wrestler, not taking anything away from Spike Dudley, like, he is a very talented human being, but size-wise, I was like, oh, if he could do this, I could possibly do this. And so that's what really brought me in, was ECW. I didn't want to hit people with chairs and stuff, but I did want to be like, oh, I can be a Spike Dudley or a Justin Credible, and not a Tatanka or the Big Boss Man, you know?
It's basically being able to envision yourself in the world, and I think that that's absolutely fantastic. Now you talk about some of the more extreme things that you were seeing when you were getting into wrestling, but throughout your own career, you have been part of some doozies, including a drowning match.
I did do that.
Intergalactic tag team title matches, and a last team smoking Iron Lung challenge, just to name a few.
Yes.
In Glam alone, we had a portal to another dimension, magic talismans, and an undead nurse with traditional family values.
Yes, of course.
Now, for someone out there who maybe hasn't experienced it for themselves, what is the wildest thing that someone might not even believe has actually happened in the ring at a Hoodslam show?
Oh, man. So I don't think this is the wildest thing, but in my head, this is what sums up Hoodslam the best for me. We had this moment where it was 2/3 of the caution going against our other third of the caution, who was starting her own version of the caution. So it was Caution, Anton, and Ian versus Caution 2, Dark Sheik, and Sweet Boone. And there was a lot of like everything that we'd ever done in Hoodslam together was like together. And so this was this big confrontation of like just blown out of the world proportions. Ian and I had basically been trying to find Dark Sheik for months, and when we finally found her, we were like, join our team, and she was like, nah, I'm gonna start my own team with the same name. So it was like, oh wow, emotional. And so we have this big match, and the original Caution, me and Ian, triumph. We win the match, and then Ian legitimately retires from wrestling, like at the end of the match, like gets on the microphone, explains to everybody, and like, you know, we break down the fourth wall and we talk to the audience directly, like, you know, I have to spend more time with my daughter. I want to be a better father than I feel like I have been. And just this real honest moment, and like gives me a hug, gives Sheik a hug, walks out, and then it's just Sheik and I in the ring, like legitimately like feeling these emotions and staring at each other like, what do we do from here? And then aliens showed up to take us to Space Jam. Like that is Hoodslam to me. It's just like this real moment that just goes, all right, enough of that. Here comes aliens.
Oh man, and I thought that that in the story, I believed that Ian Hansmith had actually been in space jail or traveling or lost in space.
So that's a little bit after this. Like Sheik and I are then trying to avoid space jail.
Of course.
We got to a point where it was like, if we ever lost a match, we would lose the intergalactic tag team titles. And once we were no longer in charge of defending the dimensions, we were going to get put in jail.
Okay.
And so we had this big match against the squad. Me, Sheik, and Sweet Boone against all 4 members of the squad.
Oh.
There you go. And in the middle of that match, like the squad takes Boone away, like covers him in like a, I don't know, something like his own jacket or something, and takes him away, and then like beats him up backstage and brings him back out, and they pull the jacket off, and then it's Ian Hansmith.
What?
Somehow he metamorphosized upon the ring. And so then we finish that match. We end up losing that match anyway, regardless of Ian being there. Because Boone never came back. I don't know what happened to that guy. He never came back to join the match.
Huh.
But we lost that match, and it was decided, like, one of us had to go to jail between me and Sheik. Because I was originally supposed to go to jail because I was the one traveling dimensions to try to find Sheik in the first place. And that's what we were going to jail for, was breaking the rules of interdimensional travel. And so Sheik was like, well, you were doing it to find me, so if one of us has to be punished, I'll go to jail. And then, yeah, Ian, like, just knocked us both out and was like, no, I just retired. Like, I'll go to jail. Like, it's fine. I'll be the one.
Wow.
So that's why he ended up in space jail.
Ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
For the team.
Yes, Creed would be proud.
Well, and speaking of the caution, and speaking of 2/3 of the caution, you and Dark Sheik, I know that you have been known to get down with a little bit of cosplay from time to time.
Why, yes.
There may be a particular memory of one of your get-ups that maybe is extra special to you.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan. Sheik and I have done like team cosplay stuff. So we're a big fan of doing Team Rocket, Jesse and James.
Absolutely.
And like, I'll do that whenever. Anyone who wants to book Team Rocket, please let us know. We'll come into it. We do.
You heard it here
Team
first.
Rocket.
You heard it here first.
Team Rocket. But I think my favorite character to be is Trevor Belmont from Castlevania.
Oh.
It's more the Trevor from the anime show that they made later, where he's just kind of this like drunken monster hunter, and pretending to be drunk and accidentally be good at wrestling is such an interesting like thing to figure out how to do, and I've really enjoyed that part of being a character. Is like, I want to convince the audience that I'm actually drunk, but I don't want to just actually be a sloppy mess in the ring. I want to be able to do everything as crisp as I always do, but how do I do that believably if I'm intoxicated? So that is a blast to do, being Trevor Belmont. I've been him a number of times at Hoodslam.
Yes, and yes, just kind of surprising your drunk character self as, oh
Yes.
Wait, look at me, I just did that.
Oh right, I've been killing vampires my whole life. Like, I should be good at fighting people.
It checks out.
Yes.
So the caution will actually be in action at 5cc Wrestling at the end of the month to challenge for the tag team championship. And next month on August 6th, we see a return of Hoodslam.
Yes,
My friend,
Hoodslam.
Can you just put into words how that feels for you?
No, I can't. It's indescribable. What's hard to get across to someone that maybe has never been in like a position that I'm in, or that any of the Hoodslammers are in, is that like, when you're a wrestler, your job is to wrestle, and you go to different companies and you wrestle there, and that's your job, is to put on a match. And some people will try to get more involved with companies, and some people will just do their one job of being a wrestler. But at Hoodslam, it really felt like it was a bunch of people who normally wrestlers are supposed to be selfish, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but your job is to sell yourself. So it's a bunch of people normally that are trying to make themselves look amazing and be like, I'm number one, I'm gonna steal the show, like it's all about me because I want to get booked on other shows. But Hoodslam was a bunch of people that were like, Hoodslam is why people are here. The company, like, it is greater than the sum of its parts, and we all loved that. No one was trying to steal the show at Hoodslam. We were all just trying to make Hoodslam as a whole this amazing spectacle. And just to have a bunch of people that all had that common goal of just like, yeah, let's blow the fans' minds together, collectively, just was such an amazing atmosphere to be involved in. And the shows got to be as ridiculous as interdimensional travel in space jail. So, so to have that be gone was really hard, because that's all I really thought about when it came to wrestling. It was like, did I do other shows? Sure. But Hoodslam was every Friday, and it was always something new and exciting. So yeah, to have that coming back is, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I just can't wait until I get to be in front of Hoodslam fans that want to see wacky zaniness and us all wanting to give it to them.
And I know I got to take part a little bit in some of the wacky zaniness of Hoodslam's glam, and we just some amazing atmosphere, incredible memories from that. And you and I, yes, we actually did a few musical numbers together, from Total Eclipse of the Heart to a parodied version of Fleetwood Mac's The Chain at Glam.
Yes.
But I want to know about your go-to karaoke tunes.
If I'm being honest, I haven't done a lot of karaoke. I always see a lot of people doing karaoke, and for whatever reason, I don't get invited a lot.
That seems like a travesty.
I mean, I'm not gonna get mad at anybody. Like, it is what it is. But I don't get invited to do karaoke all that often. And if I can be like super honest, like, usually if I'm at a place that does karaoke, I'm either with people that are really amazing singers, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be the worst of the good singers. Or I'm with a bunch of people that can't sing, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be a really good singer while everyone else is terrible. So it never feels like I should do this. But yeah, I've actually legitimately sang karaoke like at a bar, like maybe 2 times in my entire life.
Wow. And do you think it comes into that kind of introverted sense, or do you feel like when you accept the reins of karaoke, you're accepting that spotlight?
Yeah, I think if you sign up to do it, like that's fine. Like the times that I did do it, it wasn't a big deal. It didn't give me anxiety or anything like that. But also I find that a lot of times when people are like, hey, what's your go-to karaoke song? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, when put on the spot, I can't think of a song. I just can't. I'm just like, I don't know. I can sing, what do I actually know the words to? Because I'm a big fan of Chris Cornell. He's my favorite singer of all time. But I don't know that I know the actual lyrics to any of his songs 100%, because he's kind of marble-mouthed when he sings also. So it's like, a little bit. Do I know the words, the actual words? I remember one time I sang, our theme music didn't play for whatever, it's a wrestling show. Sometimes your theme music just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Ian and I were supposed to come out to Kiss from a Rose, and it didn't happen. And so the fans started like chanting for us to sing it. And so I started singing it, and while singing it, realized like, I don't know what these words are. That if you read the lyrics, you will probably be like, I didn't know those were the words. That's definitely not what I sang when I sang the words.
It's like,
Yeah.
as long as you get the tune, right?
Something on the sea. You remain the light in the dark side of me. Kiss from a rose on the grave, not on the gray. Is it grave or gray? Who knows?
Wait, now you're making me question this.
Yeah.
But, and people will say, oh, it's karaoke. The lyrics are right there for you. But there is something to be said for actually preparing and knowing a song ahead of time. I personally, if I know I'm going to do karaoke 2 or 3 days before, I have a playlist going. Just to be like, okay, well, what songs do I like? What songs do I want to sing? So, yeah, I take it pretty seriously.
Yeah, and when you stopped coming to Glam, I sang a song in your honor afterwards, and I didn't want to do it karaoke style with the lyrics up on the screen or anything, because then I would have my back to the audience. So I did have to make sure that I knew all of the words to "Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone."
But at least we're able to connect on here again, and
yes.
And it's so great to see you again. And gosh, I'm so excited for Hoodslam to be coming back, and I'm so happy that you could take the time to be on the show and chat with me again.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I am very happy that you asked me to be a part of the show. It's very kind of you.
Thank you so much. I'm just glad that there wasn't any hard feelings after I did some singing on an earlier episode.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
I always try not to hold things against you specifically, because I know that you're a very kind-hearted person and you don't do things maliciously. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes you don't really think about other people's feelings, if I'm being honest.
Well, I think that every time that you and I have had any kind of issue, it's something that we've always really been able to resolve through song. So listen, Anton, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, Anton.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, Anton.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry.
You don't have to worry, my friend, because we are here and we are together, and that's all that matters. And Let's Get Serial can bring us together, and Hoodslam can bring everyone together. And yes. I'm just so happy that you took the time to chat with me, and we were able to, put the baloney behind us.
Yes. I don't like baloney in real life or over the internet.
Let's keep it that way. So my friends, until next time, continue to do your best to be your best. And we will see you later.